Well, the cage had a concrete floor, and I would say it was about maybe 6 feet tall. It was about 4 or 5 feet wide. It was reasonably comfortable, but it was exposed to the elements. And of course, at night he had these strong, glaring Klieg lights, giving the old man, well, he was 60, 61, whatever it was, but it gave him no rest at night. And of course, he had the hot Tuscan sun broiling down on him all day. And between that and the gawking of all the prisoners who passed by, he really was very much like an animal on display. He'd come into the medical headquarters, settle down behind this old typewriter, and start pecking away with 2 fingers. He had no books. He had nothing, really. He was reduced to Mother Nature. And many times I'd go into his tent and find him lying flat on the grassy floor, studying the grass, studying the bugs. He was a great one to study the moon and the stars and line them up with his tent pole or line them up with the smoke light, smoke vent up in the ceiling of the tent. So really, it's all the old man had, although he was only 60. I don't know why I call him old. But he seemed to be old. He had that goatee, and he had this walking stick, and he'd get up every morning, and he'd duel out in front of his tent. He'd pretend that he was fencing. He was a great one, you know, for physical exercise. He was always himself. He'd dream up his own weird gymnastics. Very abrupt, very jerky, and always very pointed with that cane or walking stick that he had. And they just pointed a finger at Pound and said, "Get your gear together. You've got 10 minutes. Get to your tent. We'll wait." They waited outside. Pound threw the book at me, picked up his papers and ran to his tent. He was back in about 10 minutes with an old army overcoat, old scarf, crazy hat, army, little abbreviated army hat. And he came up to me and warmly shook hands, and he said, "Grusin, this is it." And he took his right hand, put it up around his neck, and went like this.